This is Tim Bryce with my column titled, CNN's Jim Acosta Butts Head with the President. After clashing with President Trump during a presidential press conference at the White House Wednesday, CNN's Jim Acosta had his press pass suspended until further notice, thereby sparking a long-standing feud between the president and the mainstream media. The meeting was intended to give the president an opportunity to review Tuesday's election. He said he was satisfied with the results and hoped to forge a relationship with House Democrats to work on legislation. He then opened the floor for questions from the press. Acosta was the second person to ask the president a question involving the caravan moving through Mexico to the United States. Here he challenged the president's interpretation of invasion of the immigrants. The president answered by disagreeing with the reporter's interpretation. Acosta claimed the president was trying to demonize immigrants by his description, which drew the ire of the president, who told the reporter to let him do his job. He then turned to another reporter for the next question. Acosta pressed on by beginning to ask a second question regarding the Russian investigation. The president took Acosta to task, saying,
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
As I traveled with the press corps and covering Trump rallies in Florida, I have had the opportunity to watch Acosta work firsthand. It seems to me he is more interested in his own personal agenda than anything else. He relishes being the center of attention, which is why I believe he asks questions unlike other reporters. This confrontation with the president is not the first, as he has cultivated a combative relationship with Mr. Trump. Let us not forget, after a confrontation with Trump supporters at a rally in Tampa earlier this year where he was shouted down by the audience, Acosta said he felt threatened and suggested children shouldn't be allowed to attend Trump rallies as the people are allegedly dangerous. This is what initiated his claim that the president was at war with the press. CNN naturally came to their employees' defense following Wednesday's controversy by stating, quote, "This unprecedented decision is a threat to our democracy and the country deserves better. Jim Acosta has our full support," end quote. They also called Trump's attacks on the media as un-American, thereby fueling the fire of division. A couple of things come to mind after watching this on television. First, I didn't hear one intelligent question to the president from an American journalist. Here you have the commander-in-chief where you can ask a question of substance regarding government policies on such things as the economy, trade, foreign relations, health care, prescription drugs, which the president is discussing with Democrats, the federal bench, military matters, immigration reform, etc. Instead, they are preoccupied baiting the president with trivialities designed to make him look bad, not good. He, of course, would have none of it and snap back at the questioners now and then. I found it particularly amusing when he said, "That's the best you got?" or "That's a question?" In other words, the president completely understands the game the press is playing with him and is appalled by the low IQ questions and inflammatory accusations they make. This has forced him to become even more no-nonsense than before, which is why he butted heads with Acosta. Frankly, I'm surprised he hadn't taken them all to task earlier. I suspect we will continue to see more changes in the relationship with the press following the election. This brings up my second point. Participation as a member of the press at the White House is a privilege, not a right. There is no legislation stating the press has access rights. As I've mentioned before, it was around President Theodore Roosevelt's time when the administration allowed members of the press on the grounds of the White House. The press has as much right to the White House as they do to the president's taxes, which is zilch. So as a guest, the press should behave with more civility at the president's home, as opposed to becoming obnoxious. In a way, this reminds me of when you have a guest at your house who perhaps has had too much to drink or has offended someone. Usually the host asks him to leave and calls him a cab. Jim Acosta's taxi arrived yesterday. Friends, keep the faith. This is Tim Bryce in Palm Harbor, Florida. Follow me on the internet at timbryce.com.